America is a long way from real facts. Everything that's going on right now, politically, culturally, everything about America is based on not facts, but lies. And primarily lies about two men, two historical figures, George Floyd and Donald Trump. George Floyd deified, glorified. Donald Trump demonized, marginalized, canceled. They must stop him, criminalized. But lies about these two gentlemen have brought us to where we are. And the grand architect of all of this is someone we know, Joe Biden. Grand architect sounds too fancy. Let's call him a sloppy handyman. But the lies that he told and is telling right now has brought this country to the brink. His entire presidency, don't forget this, is based on a lie. This is really the very first time he talked to us as a presidential candidate. This is when he launched his campaign, and it starts with a lie.
He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it.
Charlottesville, you remember. I'll get to what President Trump really said, but this is it. This is the key to his presidency, Charlottesville and the Charlottesville lie. Next.
That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
All right. All based on this. And what can't we forget?
We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
All right, this is America. Charlottesville, what did happen in Charlottesville? There was that awful, a guy took his car and went into those protesters, and yes, a young woman was killed, and that was awful. But as to what President Trump said about that day, he did not say what they say he said, and what so many people still believe that he said. Listen, please.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
So the guy in the car who ran over that woman, neo-Nazi, white supremacist, whatever you want to call him, should be condemned totally. Crystal clear. He said it out loud. But folks, as far as protesting the monument of Robert E. Lee, you know, there are two sides to that position. And you can be a very good person and believe that Robert E. Lee represents everything that's wrong with America and slavery, and that statue should go, and we can have that discussion. I might even be sympathetic. I would listen, right? I don't agree, but I would listen. Lots of people, good people, feel that way. And lots of good people feel that these monuments must be maintained, part of our heritage. Our heritage isn't perfect, but it's part of our story. You cannot omit it. Otherwise, it increases the likelihood or the danger of doing it again. So, an all-out lie, and everything about President Trump since, from the mainstream, from Joe Biden, has been a lie. Also regarding George Floyd. George Floyd, I mean, everything about his life, and more importantly, everything, and I mean everything about his death that we've been told is a lie. It's not true. Nothing about what we've been told is true. There is a new film called The Fall of Minneapolis, and I urge you to watch it. Folks, you can watch it for free, okay? You go to thefallofminneapolis.com. An amazing film that tells the truth about what actually happened. Now, I've been working on this for a number of years. I've kept my eye on this story, absolutely, and this is the truth. We have some clips from the movie. Number one, Chauvin, Derek Chauvin, and that maneuver, knee on the neck. It actually wasn't on the neck, it was on the shoulder. And that whole position, which was shocking to some, was actually authorized by the Minneapolis Police Department.
Your attorney wanted to show a photo of MRT to the jury, but Judge Cahill denied it. Was this a key piece of evidence?
I think it certainly is important. Just the fact that it's a PowerPoint training presentation that the City of Minneapolis Police Department delivered, using that photograph, that at least illustrates some of the training techniques that are performed.
You see that? Doesn't that look familiar? I'm sorry, but that's actually part of the training syllabus at the Minneapolis Police Department. Knee right there on the shoulder, possibly the neck. Take a look at what Chauvin, right? The picture from that day. Doesn't it look similar? They taught this, and they didn't just teach it to Derek Chauvin. Back to the movie.
Were you trained in MRT, the maximal restraint technique?
Yes.
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 Yes, I was. Yes, we all were.
Yes, all the police officers were trained in the MRT.
Your police chief said on the stand that he didn't recognize that technique.
I heard him say that. It's tough to hear people lie, just straight lie.
We'll get to what seem to be lies in a moment. Again, this maneuver taught by the police department and described in the manual. Let's go ahead and put the manual up. Neck restraint, non-deadly force option defined as compressing one or both sides of a person's neck with an arm or a leg. I didn't write that. The city of Minneapolis wrote it all the way back in like 2002, and they taught it every single year. Now, why wasn't this brought up at trial? Well, number one, the judge wouldn't allow it. And number two, it looks like key witnesses may have lied.
I'd like to show you what's been received as Exhibit 17. Is this a trained technique that's by the Minneapolis Police Department when you were overseeing the training unit?
It is not.
And how does this differ?
I don't know what kind of improvised position that is. So that's not what we train.
All right. As you reflect on Exhibit 17, I must ask you, is this a trained Minneapolis Police Department defensive tactics technique?
It is not.
Well, that's not the case. It's actually in the manuals. Now, the judge would not let this MRT be discussed. They wouldn't let it be discussed in court. A lot of strange things about that trial. It's all in the film. And so many officers speaking out, former officers, so they could be quite candid.
Why then did you want to speak out?
The whole city is different. The police force lost so many people because of it. Just the amount of crisis that people went through. The media did a really good, strange job of reporting the way they wanted the narrative to go.
After what the world witnessed in the murder of George Floyd,
these 4 police officers are committing a series of actions that violate policies.
This news is disgusting, and they're immoral. At the stuff they reported, the lies they reported.
I saw the video. There was a lot of other angles that were excluded. A lot of training that was excluded.
Efforts to save George Floyd's life excluded. Problems with the emergency paramedics coming to the scene. Why were they so late? Excluded. And body camera footage excluded. Some key evidence excluded. And this was certainly undermined or ignored by the media. The police officers involved. Can I see them? I think all 4 of these are in jail right now. 2 of the officers are people of color. Tao and King on the lower left. Tao Asian, King, who's officially the man who arrested George Floyd, happens to be a black man. Doesn't that undermine the racial component to this story, right? I think it does significantly. Mr. King is now in jail and spoke to the filmmakers, and, you know, his commentary Well, I think it's so applicable to so much of what's going on right now in America.
The way I see it is that he made the decisions he thought was right. As he did before, he's always been one that was by the book and legally abiding. I think he did exactly what he was trained to do. Unfortunate that the publicity got as riled up as it did by all the officials and politicians that were involved with the case, and it took away any chance he had to even say his piece.
What does this case say about the justice system in America?
I think, unfortunately, we've come to the point now where the justice system has been controlled by mob mentality. Social media, news outlets, peer pressure now control the outcomes of trials, investigations. The justice system no longer is really something you can trust, because if you're in any way on the negative side of the media, you're pretty much just going to have a trial by street, and no one ever wins in street trials with publicity that is already against you.
Negative side on the media, you're not going to get a fair trial. It'll be trial by street. And that means if you're a police officer in Minneapolis or the president of the United States, this is what's happening to Donald Trump right now, to Officer King, those three other officers, and him. Mob, social media, peer pressure, what's cool, what's hot, let's get him now. Where does this leave him, and where does it leave the cops? Take a look at what it's done for policing.
What was it like going to 911 calls after the riots?
I was the first officer at multiple shootings. I was involved with gun calls, and I'm just like, one of these situations is not going to turn out good.
Did you ever see that before? Guy gets hit in the head with a metal hubcap. That could kill somebody. That's attempted murder. Police officers are facing this all the time. And then those Democrat politicians have the nerve to say crime is going down. Crime is going down. Well, police aren't able to do their jobs. Police aren't able to police effectively. Yeah, guess what? Oh, you won't have as much reported crime. We are in a free fall. And the corporate, the beautiful people, they don't ask questions. They just don't want the mob showing up at their door. They just want business to always be good.
To start, I want to address the topic of racism, inequality, and injustice, and to recognize the pain being felt throughout our nation, especially in our Black and brown communities after the senseless killing of George Floyd.
A difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom.
The bottom line is, after 8 minutes and 46 seconds, America was changed. We saw what happened to George Floyd. America saw it. The world saw it.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Those are George Floyd's last words. We can't let those words die with him.
All over the world, George, they're marching with your name. You've touched the world in South Africa. You touched the world in England. You've touched every one of the 50 states. Even in a pandemic, people are walking out in the streets, not even following social distancing, because you've touched the world.
So you see how they exploited it for their own benefit, or just so they can go along, keep making money. The NFL, Apple Computer, right? They don't want any trouble. They don't want the mob hanging around. So many fascinating things in this movie. George Floyd had enough fentanyl in him to kill 3 men. No damage to his neck. No evidence of asphyxiation. They go into that. And also a fascinating and heartbreaking chapter on the abandonment and the evacuation of the 3rd precinct. Remember that? They gave it up for the mob. Why did that happen? Who ordered it? What did it mean for the cops inside? Folks, you have to see this movie. It's important. The Fall of Minneapolis. Go to thefallofminneapolis.com. By the way, folks, it's free.